Okay, so my previous video about showing how you can drag the points in 3D space like from a spline actually put me on another problem I have been thinking about. Like I've been designing like tubes inside another object, and I was like, okay, the only way I knew up to now on how to get points in 3D space was to make layers or projected construction planes at different points or set points in height. Now, I just realized I can use this method I showed you earlier about moving points in 3D space to actually get them where I want it. So, let's say I have, I'll just hide this one for now, and this and this and this and this and this. This is just because I want to show you. Okay, so I'll just make a sphere. Let's say I have a sphere. I'll make it here, make it a little bit bigger. Okay. And I'll make that transparent so you can actually see what I am gonna talk about. So I make it 50%. So now it's a sphere and it is transparent. And I'll make one. I'll hide it for now. I just want a sketch. So I'll make a sketch on that axis, and I'll make it like a construction there. I'll finish that and I'll bring it back again. So now you know there is an orientation relative to that. I'll also make one in the other direction. Create sketch. P for project. It's just to get the points. Create. The sphere there, and I'll just make it like that, and I'll remove that, and I'll delete that, like that. Okay, finish. And I'll show that, and I'll show the body. So now you see I have the orientation in 3D space. Okay. Now, I always thought I had to make, like, if I wanted something upwards from here and into space and raise like vertically, I had to make construction planes and then put points by using a pattern around. But actually it's much easier than that. Now, if let's say I just want to add a point on any of those axes, like edit sketch, and I go in and I can take and create point, and I can just put the point there. Okay, make sure you are in 3D mode for this. Okay, I'll have to move my camera a bit, like there. So make sure you are in 3D mode for this. Here, and then I have my point here. And if you drag that point, I can sort of change orientation. I can drag it like this, but then it may be dragged down. So it's like it can sort of go away. So where did the point go? It's like there. See? I can do that, but how can I make sure that I can bring it inside the sphere? Here, because when I drag it that way, it may not always hold the exact same place. So what you can do is you can double click it and you can say, okay, this is the top orientation and I want it relative there and there when I look from the top. And then I can say, okay, from this orientation I want it here. And then I want to go to the right orientation, and I want to see it there. And let's say I want it to the corner here, and I want it a little bit further up, or maybe I want to just move it on that plane, and then on this plane a little bit. Maybe I want it a little bit more like that. So now the point is moved around there, and press OK. And now I want a different point around here, so I'll make another point. Okay, so I double click that one. Okay, I'm really far out now, so I'll just put it so I see from the back, and I'll just slide it in towards the center and slide it out a little bit. And it's always at the center of those two arrows, so the point is always there. And then I can change the orientation, and I'm a little bit off, so I'll go from the top, and I can change. I want it there, and I want it there. But I want it at a different height. For most part, I actually have that. Okay, that is looking pretty fine. Okay, I'll accept that. So now I have 3 points inside the sphere. Okay, I want one more. And I want to make it on the same sketch. I right click that point and take edit sketch, and now I know it's on the same sketch. So I create point, just put it out there. So now I have the point there. But this point I want to first see it from the front, and I want it oriented maybe around here, but on the other side of the axis. So I bring it up there, just to roughly where I want it on the sphere, okay? Compared to the other ones. And now I go and I look from the top, and I can't really see it. Where is it? It's way out there. So I'll drag it back to where I want it. Remember, if you see the two arrows, it's always like at the corner of the arrows. Okay, so that's the orientation I wanted on the top. I just have to wait for it to calculate. The reason it's calculating a lot is because I have some objects that are a little bit heavier. Normally this would be really fast. Now I'll just make sure I see it in the correct position from the left. See it in the correct position from the back. I'll see it in the correct position from the left. Okay. So if I spin this now, you can see I have 3 points at different curvatures. Now let's say I wanted a tunnel through this sphere. I'll go and I'll hide the body for now. And since I'm in 3D space, I can use, let's say, I can either use swipe, or I can use I'm just going to use an arch for now, 3-point arch. So I start it there, and I bring it to the last point where I want it, and I bring it there. Okay, so I press that as a construction line, and now you can see you have an arch in 3D space inside the cube, and I can just select it, create. I actually have to go out of the sketch, so I can select it, and I can select a pipe. But a path needs to be solid, of course. There, like that. Finish. Select that. Create pipe. And make it section size 5. Okay. Now I can bring in the sketch again. This. And you have created a channel inside the cube. So I'll take the cube now just to show you, and I'll select OK, modify, combine, select cut, keep tools. I'll use the ring I had. OK, I'll hide it, and I'll hide the sketch as well. And now you can see there is a hole inside the ring. So if I go out here and I do a section analysis from here, you can see that there is a ring hole inside the cube. And that is actually because I basically moved the points to where I wanted to keep them inside the cube. Let's see, there, this is the correct object there. So you can just select that one and section analysis, and you can see so basically sometimes when you are working with a bigger model like this one, and you want to place a point near this point, but not exactly. So point there. Okay, that point is actually got a projection installed to it that is from the model itself. But let's say you want a point, but you want it close to there, but you don't want to use it, use that point specifically. Well, you can right-click and you can take fix, unfix. Maybe it's delete coefficient. Yeah, that would probably bring it loose. But you so there now it has no relation. There is still a projection there. Yeah, parents. Okay, but you want to bring a point to that point. So what you can do is in 3D space you can go, okay, you can use that as a reference. You can say, okay, front, create, point, make a point there. See, and then you can double click it, and you can say, okay, I want to bring it as close to that one as possible, but I don't want it to touch it. Okay, so now I brought it there. I should have just changed orientation. I shouldn't have clicked. Okay, so double click it again. I just want to see where I am. Then you can click OK, front, top. You see I'm a little bit further away, so I'll just bring it down. So where am I in relation to left side? I think I started from right, so left should be pretty much the same. Yeah, so top looks okay. Looks okay. Looks okay. So press OK for this now. So now you have manually put a point in 3D space close to the existing point. I know it seems useless to do that. But sometimes when you want to paint an arch or after the surface, you want to readjust points to specific positions before you make a path between them, and then this can be very useful. So I hope you like this video, and I'll see you in the next one.